So is this the main place you boys kick back?
Like where are they gonna go? They're like just being let down by the whole system.
Guess I won't be staying here tonight.
They can just buy land, let it accumulate, let the houses rot.
If it's your property and you decide to leave it vacant for whatever reason, then that's your prerogative.
1 in 20 properties in Greater Melbourne that have been left vacant long term.
You can just walk right in and take your pick from any number of these apartments here.
In terms of whether, I guess that's right or wrong, I guess it just is what it is.
Welcome to our squat for the night. Good afternoon and welcome to the very beautiful city of Melbourne. It is one of the most livable cities in the world, but also, quite paradoxically, one of the most expensive. There are a lot of empty homes here in Melbourne, 100,000 according to a recent report. I don't know what the methodology of that report is like, it might be complete crap, but the point stands that there are a lot of empty homes here in this city. Over the next few days we're going to go check out some of these empty homes, see what condition they're in, see what they're about, and hopefully, if they don't feel too sketchy, I'm going to try and stay in there for a couple of nights in a few different ones. I guess you could call that squatting. I don't know when it becomes like staying for a night or squatting, but yeah, I'm going to try and stay overnight in a couple. So join me as over the next few days we explore these vacant properties around Melbourne, the differing opinions about them, and see what they can tell us about the story of the city and the people that live in it. Let's go check it out. Okay, just made it to Thornbury where we're going to check out the first property on this tour. So this I found courtesy of the video that he uploaded. The title was Squat B&B. It looks like a really nice one, running water, electricity, gas, basically ready to move into. So if I am going to stay there the night, which hopefully I will, it should be a pretty easy transition to never squatting to giving it a shot. Let's go check it out. A little bit about squatting in Victoria. As I understand it, it's completely legal. For you to enter a property that has, an unlocked door or a window, that's fine. If you break anything, you break a window, you bust a lock, it's a very different story. That's a B&E or a burglary. You can actually get criminally charged for that sort of stuff, of course. But just walking into a place that's unlocked is completely fine. If you don't vacate the property when the owner of the property tells you to get out, then you can get in trouble as well. But if you just walk into an unlocked property and you're chilling out there, not damaging the place, and no one's telling you to leave, then, that's up to you. You can do that. So there you go. Here it is. Let's have a little knock first, see if anyone's taken it. Looks pretty empty to me. Let's check out the back entrance. Yeah, so I wonder who put that there. Did they come down and bolt it up, or did the neighbour do it? Really interesting. Might ask the neighbour, see what they reckon. And the neighbour next door who I just spoke with said the landlord actually lives only a couple of neighbouring suburbs away. So they just came over and bolted that wooden plank onto the gates so no one could come through. And then also presumably installed those no trespassing signs there as well. So I don't remember seeing that in the video a few months ago anyway. Okay, so the squat B&B didn't quite work out. So today we're going to go southeast, some of the richer suburbs. Speaking of empty houses, there's a couple, right, morning. There's a couple right here. So there's one there and there's one here as well. And I never see any activity there. The lawns are all overgrown and all I see is these old collectible cars with historical regos, Mercedes, Range Rovers, moving around in there. So there's just this old dude and he uses them for his $2 million car parks. So tonight we've got a very interesting event happening. I woke up and I checked the Signal group chat that I've been invited into. This group chat is a group of squatters in Melbourne. And what they've organised for tonight is a banner hang. So they're all getting together in this abandoned property in Fitzroy North and they're going to hang a banner on it to raise awareness for the fact that that property is empty and how many people need homes in this city and how many homes are without people. So there should be a really interesting group of people there to talk to, and hopefully they can guide me towards a squat that I can sleep in for the night. But until then, we've got a full day ahead of us, which leads us to our first property in Elwood. Well, location, location, location. You can't beat it here. Fuck, someone's fully living in here though. Guess I won't be staying here tonight. Check it out, this is our bed. Got some cigarettes, bachelor's handbag, roast chicken from Coles, and some, medical equipment on the floor. Damn. Well, I wanted to find a squat. I guess I found one. It's not the squat necessarily that I was looking for. Wow. Reeks of piss out here. So I guess around here is the bathroom. There's an Ethernet cable. That's good. Yeah, guys, someone's definitely living in this full time. So I mean, yeah, like this is dangerous to live in, you know, this roof can collapse whenever, but the people that are in these situations, they're on the street, you know? So I mean, I think this is a lot less dangerous than sleeping on the street, sleeping at Flinders Street Station, sleeping God knows where. I wonder who lives here, what their story is, where they've come from. Yeah, so probably won't be spending the night here. Looks like someone else has already got that covered. So that guy back there who lives just across the road from it was saying it's usually one homeless person, but sometimes it can be a few different ones that comes there. And that place has been burnt down like that for 15 to 20 years. And apparently it's owned by, so the place next to it is owned by the wife of the couple, and then that place is the ex-husband or something like that. And he's a doctor and he keeps it for sentimental reasons. And like he said, you know, what's sentimental about that? It's sad if anything, but you got to think like that's a $2 million property and they're paying, you know, 3% of the property's value per year in vacant land tax. That's 60 grand a year they're paying to keep that there. What a waste. All right, let's go talk to some people.
It's harder for landlords at the moment because they've got to pay this extra land tax.
Landlords vary. Some of them are really decent, honourable people and some aren't. It's hard to make an overall rule that is fair to everyone, isn't it?
What do you think we can do to help landlords protect their right to leave properties vacant if they so choose?
Oh, preferably absolutely nothing.
That burnt down property is just a hop, skip and a jump away from the main streets of Elwood, a few blocks away from the beach, just over there, right in the middle of some of the most desirable real estate in the country. And it's been abandoned and burnt down for 15, 20 years. Crazy. Hello sir, how are you? Are you a landlord? No. Oh lad, done. You know what, make it a large. Oh, cars, I didn't think this Babke was going to be this big, lad. Just now heading out to Fitzroy North for this banner hanging event. Hopefully there's a good turnout. Really keen to meet some of the people there. Let's go. So here it is, just behind me, the location of the banner hanging event. I'm here a little bit early, so if anyone starts rocking up, I can have a nice chat with them. And there's a lovely park here for me to sit and wait in the meantime. And I've got a tinny to keep me company, so it'll be a quick 45 minutes. I wonder how they're gonna get in there. Do they know the building code? We'll find out.
Hello.
You here for the banner hang?
Yeah.
Sweet as.
We're spreading awareness about squatting. So that house isn't actually squattable, which is one of the reasons we've chose it as a spreading awareness place. But basically what's happening is the landlords they're buying property and they're letting it just fall apart so that they can basically, because the land goes up every year in value so much that they can just buy land, let it accumulate, let the houses rot, and then 5-10 years later, they bulldoze the house and they build apartments there. I believe it's heritage listed. It was made in like the early 1900s. I'm not sure what the year is.
Looks heritage listed, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. I could be wrong. But basically, so the thing about that house is the landlords have probably bought it and they're probably intentionally letting it fall apart so that it has to be knocked down as like a health and safety thing, and then they can build whatever they want on the land.
All right, I think people are heading into the house now. Let's go check it out. I was actually wrong as well. It's not this one with all the green stuff out the front. It's the one right next to it. No worries. So walking in here, my first impressions were just how nice this place is. It definitely needs a touch up, but according to these guys and the neighbour, the place has been empty for over 3 years. This is easily a multi-million-dollar property, and just based on the misrent alone, I struggle to understand why it's empty. Man, this place is really nice. Prime location, huh? So I think they're just trying to figure out now how they're gonna hang it up here and throw it down.
Just like we're holding it from a finger. Oh, well, one big change would be do not knock down public housing, and also don't have like these giant lists for public housing, because like people who are trying to escape domestic violence and need like emergency housing, like where are they gonna go? They're like just being let down by the whole system. So it's best to like, put the money where it should be instead of like selling off these places to like big investors and shit. Like that's not solving anything.
Today we've been looking at some empty properties in Victoria, like the one you see across the road. So there are 1 in 20 properties in Greater Melbourne that have been left vacant long term. There are 1 in 10 in the inner city. We don't have a stock problem. We've got a functional stock problem in this country. We're tearing down public housing while we're building up stock that's being used for Airbnbs, for luxury apartments, things that people can't live in. There are people living on the streets, there are people living in cars, couch surfing. And so our aim is, first and foremost, bring awareness. The more people that understand this issue, the more political pressure on the political establishment comes about. We need governments fighting to give more housing than the other, rather than tearing down housing or blaming immigrants or blaming stock levels and just flat out lies. If we filled every Airbnb with a family or a person living there, we could end the homelessness tomorrow.
My name is Fergus. I'm 29 years old and I live in Melbourne, and I work in the real estate industry. I work for a company called Mecca Property Group. The company, it's essentially a buyer's agency / property investment firm.
Do you reckon that, if you own a property and you want to keep it vacant for vacancy's sake, do you think you should be allowed to do that in a free, given it's a free market?
I think so. Look, if that's your decision, then I think you should be able to do that. Mm-hmm. It's obviously a strange decision because you're literally, foregoing rent. But if that's your decision, I believe I believe on balance, there's nothing wrong with it. I understand some people might say, well, it's greedy or it's selfish. We've got a lot of people, trying to get into rental properties to rent, and then there's a bunch of people who, for whatever reason, just want to leave their property vacant. I do get that argument. However, I think it's outweighed by the fact that if it's your property and you decide to leave it vacant for whatever reason, then that's your prerogative. It's a free market, and if I can afford to buy 10 investment properties, then I'll do that. There'll be some people in society that may not like that because they can't even afford one, for example. In terms of whether, I guess that's right or wrong, I guess it just is what it is. It is a free market, like you said, and many people see real estate as a really good investment vehicle to be becoming financially free someday. And most property investors are sort of, I guess, not too. Probably sounds a little bit brutal, but they're probably not too concerned about the other sort of argument where lots of people might be saying there's too many property investors.
Even though the banner hang was cool, I'd hoped to find some information on where I might be able to squat for the night. Unfortunately, I didn't really get any closer to finding that. These guys keep their cards super close to their chest. They were meeting a couple of days later though, so I decided to go and speak with some more people there. And on the way, I found these guys in this place. Hey boys, what's going on? Are these places all abandoned?
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Empty and fucked up.
So
That's not one of the kickback rooms.
one of the kickback. How many rooms are you kicking back in here?
Just one, just next door.
How many are open and empty like this?
Oh, every single one of them's unlocked.
There's a fully empty apartment building here. Got a Red Bull, it's pretty cool. So I don't think people are so much staying in these as much as they're just, even though there is a bed there, as much as just sort of kicking back and having a sesh here.
Snap a little.
Have a cone?
If you want one.
Oh no, I don't smoke anymore, man. Thanks though.
If you wanted one, you could have one, or if you want, you could cop some videos.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll cop a video.
It's up to you.
Invite, man. Oh, this place is pretty clean. What's going on, boys? I'm Zaman. So is this the main place you boys kick back?
Yeah, we kick back here a fair bit.
Yeah.
So, we've had a couple bandos that we've kind of made into a bit of our own over the last couple, I'd say about a year actually. This place is actually surprisingly safe. We've been here heaps. We know heaps of people that have been here heaps. No one's ever had a problem. No cops.
Thanks for the hospitality.
Have a good one.
You too. Ah, shit, there's a couple of places here that have mattresses in them. It's wild that this is relatively in a city. This is Preston, Coburg, and there's this whole block of flats. It's completely empty. There are rooms that you can sleep in here. You can just walk right in and take your pick from any number of these apartments here. I might not have a great option here to spend the night. I can't say that I don't have another option. It is still an option overall. So it turns out that this place was actually public housing and it burnt down in 2019. So for over 5 years this has just been sitting here unoccupied. I couldn't really find much information on this place. There was only that 7 News article and then one more that was behind a paywall as well. But I did find this dude speaking about it in a legislative assembly about this time last year. And he was saying that it's about 3,000 square meters and that there's 21 dwellings in each of the buildings. So a total of 42 dwellings. And he's basically just trying to make sure that they're going to be retained as public housing. So this is the most recent information I've been able to find on it, so I'm not actually sure that they have any plans for it. It just seems like they are simply sitting there. I think it's really interesting that public housing people are currently living in is being demolished and rebuilt, but these ones are just left here as is. When I first started this video, my initial goal was to squat in 7 places across 7 nights, so squatting for a week and in a different place every time. I soon realized that that was going to be much more difficult than I thought, and I thought, you know, in the intro, just to be on the safe side, let's under-promise and over-deliver by saying, let's squat in a couple or a few. And after going around and looking at a bunch of these properties, I realized even a couple might be quite difficult. Even one would be difficult. So I thought to myself, let's just have the goal to be one place. Let's find somewhere where we can stay overnight so we can learn a little bit about squatting and squat for the squat video. And finally, I've found the place, guys. Welcome to our squat for the night. Cheers. So this here in the heart of Melbourne's east, Melbourne's leafy green, prestigious old money east. It's a 4-bedroom house. It was last sold in 2018 for $3.3 million. And I suspect that no one has been here since 2018 because this does not happen overnight. This would surely take some time. But this house, apart from its 4 bedrooms, does have some pretty crazy amenities. Check this out. Hot tub. Not too bad, right? But wait for it. We also have a sauna. Not too bad. It's one of those traditional saunas as well. None of that infrared bullshit. This is a real deal. Hey man, hey, how are you? Yeah, long time no see. Yeah, no, doing great. What am I doing right now? I've already set up, I've got all my stuff here for the night. I'm just sleeping on a yoga mat with a sleeping bag and a pillow out of my bedroom. And the most important thing, because I really struggle to sleep if the room's stagnating, I got a little portable fan here, so that should help me sleep. 2 bathrooms as well, one upstairs, one downstairs. I was able to lock the back door as well, which is nice, so should just be us here for the night. I hope so, because if I hear people walking around here at night, I'm going to shit. There's a little bit of a wet patch here, and there's like a broken skylight up in the bathroom. So I think the rain's been coming through there and then leaking through the floor / ceiling onto the bottom floor. But that's about the only structural looking damage that I can see. Apart from that, it's just really dusty. And there's a broken window down there, but that's it. It's an absolutely enormous garage in there. There's a double door and a single door as well. It is enough to fit 3 cars in there. 3 not particularly small cars. Okay, so what are we doing for dinner? It's a question on everybody's mind. I was thinking about bringing a little camping stove and cooking, but then that seemed a little bit complicated and also, frankly, a little bit dangerous. So we're just going for a little bit of a Mediterranean smorgasbord here. So we got some like salami and bread and sun-dried tomatoes and olives. And there's no fire required for that. The only fire here is this meal selection. Oh, fucking food. After realizing I'd accidentally bought the olives with the pips in them, I watched a 1.5 hour video about Jack and Daxter on YouTube, and then something about how the geography of Sydney crushes poor people. Both great videos that I highly recommend you watch after this if you're interested in the topics. If I find that we have an intruder in the middle of the night or anything, I might just use the sauna as a panic room. Saunas are pretty relaxing, so it should at least chill me out in the very least. Alright guys, it's 8:30 or something now, so I'm pretty much just going to watch some YouTube and go to bed. I'm not going to do any more filming tonight or anything, so see you in the morning. It's 11:30. I haven't actually gone to sleep yet. I'm pretty tired, but I keep thinking that noises keep kind of freaking me out a little bit, you know. That's okay. Back to bed. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I've actually had some sleep. Fell asleep. And yeah, it's just been really quiet. It's been nice. It's been chill. Morning. It's about 6 a.m. I actually slept really well once I got to sleep. I've now officially squatted for a night. There you go. Do you know what? I realised something. This is the most expensive house I've ever stayed in overnight. That's hilarious. Actually, do you know what? I'm not going to go to a cafe and get a coffee because the last couple of times I've been and got one, I get an extra 2 shots in mine, a total of 4, and they've charged me like $7 for that the last couple of times, so let's just go home and get one. As I was walking back in with my sleeping bag and everything, I ran into my housemate in the car park area, and he was like, well, what did you get up to last night? And I said, oh, I slept in an abandoned building for a part of that squad video. And he was like, okay. So how was it? Well, it was pretty uncomfortable. I would literally, I think, have to be like on the street before I would do that. I would way rather sleep in a backpackers or my car, just sleep in the back of my car overnight. You know, I've had this feeling many times before, the differentiation between housing or shelter and home. You know, I always think to myself, like, I'm gonna remember this, like just having my own space, and you know, it's beautiful and I can be here and it's clean and it's mine. And inevitably that somehow always just kind of, you lose it a little bit. And even just last night was such a refresher for me to think like, fuck, how lucky am I to have such a nice living situation right now. So what does the existence of these empty homes here in Melbourne tell us? What does it tell us about the story of this city and the people that live here? Why the people without homes, and why the homes without people? Well, simply put, these homes tell us a story not just of neglect, but a story of a city that has become more for the few and less for the many. I'm making a video about empty properties in Melbourne. I need to get some B-roll of this.
Okay. Okay.
All right, thanks guys, have a good one.
Yeah.